Indigenous people captured in war were often enslaved, and through slavery, they were absorbed into the legal category as Negro. This was particularly true for tribes in the Southeast, where indigenous captives were frequently sold into slavery. Over generations, their legal identity was erased, leaving their descendants classified as Black despite their indigenous ancestry. You see how the switch, the prodigious birth, how you became a monster, not having the shape of mankind. So again, what is it that mankind has? A land, a tongue, and a flag. All three of those work together, work in tandem. That's the reason why a German is from Germany and he speaks German. A Russian is from Russia and he speaks Russian. But you, where's your tongue? Where's your land? Where's your flag? They took it from you, reclassified you, and considered your birth with a prodigious birth, making you a monster, a legal monster, a legal monstrosity. All this that I'm saying, you can look up for yourself. You can know for yourself today. Yeah. Now this is supreme non-gatekeeping right here. This is the floodgate. So and for all those, this is for whosoever can hear, let him hear. Yeah, I've been on this for 25 years, but it's only at this time that the Lord has allowed me to articulate it and in this fashion. Yeah, I've been saying it that we from here, we the indigenous people, and that we are the Moors and so forth and so on. I came through Moorish science, and I thank God for Prophet Noble Drew Ali and what he did through the Moorish science tip. I honor the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Because if it wasn't for the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and his teachings, I would not be here today. I would not be able to reveal these things to you today. Yeah, I'm not even dealing with esoteric stuff. This is just legal. Or I can show you some things. I can show you how to do something. So now I'm going to break down the philosophical and metaphysical implications of denying the natural order of things. Right? What defines a person? The legal stripping of indigenous identity raises profound philosophical questions. Is personhood a natural state, or is it a legal construct? If legal classification can redefine a person's status, does that mean legal power determines reality? If an indigenous person is legally transformed into a Negro, has their essence changed or only their legal perception? And I say that only the legal perception, because you're able to be led around by the nose. You fed this stuff, emotional stuff, and you get to going because you are a sensitive people. Spiritually, you are very sensitive. You have done great things. There are marvelous works here in America that you have done, works that you have performed, pyramids that you've built, monuments. Change your legal perception. Now you African, I'm African American. I'm African American. The hell is that? People on the continent don't even call themselves African. They only call themselves African over here when they talking to you. But a person from Morocco calls themselves Moroccan. Person from Algeria calls themselves Algerian. Person from Egypt calls himself Egyptian. Person from the Congo calls himself Congolese. They don't call themselves African. It's only when they're dealing with you. They give you this African mumbo jumbo to continue to disinherit you because they getting money from their programs. Everybody's paid. Shh. Don't let the coloreds know. Don't let the Negroes know. Don't let the African Americans know. Don't wake them up. Don't disturb the sleeping giant. You are the sleeping giant. So they through their creation, they created an unnatural thing, an unnatural being, an unnatural human, which is a prodigy that they call a monster. Identity as a function of power. From a metaphysical perspective, this reclassification is not just an act of legal maneuvering, but an assertion of absolute power over identity. If law can redefine a person's existence, then reality itself is shaped by those in power. This is a form of existential domination, where the very being of a person is altered to serve political and economic ends. It's all about the money. No, it's all about the currency. It's all about the power. But power is an illusion. Power changes as the ethers change. Power is just like the light switch. Turn it off and on. But what's truly powerful is the force that's hidden in the wall. That's what's powerful. What I've revealed to you today so far is the convergence of law, history, and philosophy have been used to deny the indigenous peoples their inheritance. The forced reclassification of indigenous Americans as Negro or colored was not a mere bureaucratic error. It was a deliberate legal strategy designed to sever indigenous people from their land, identity, and inheritance. By applying the legal doctrine of prodigious birth, colonial authorities were able to render entire populations legally unnatural, preventing them from claiming their rightful status. This process was reinforced through historical policies that systematically erased indigenous identity through Paper Genocide. And it carries deep philosophical implications about the nature of personhood and the power of law to determine reality. Ultimately, this argument is impenetrable because it fuses legal doctrine, historical evidence, and philosophical reasoning into a unified framework that exposes the fundamental injustice of racial reclassification as a tool of dispossession. I'll make another video and we're going to talk about legal remedies, how to get it back. And that's what's going on with Donald Trump. Got to get all those players out the way first, baby. You got to get all those hands out the way. You got to get all those, bureaucrats out the way. Because that's what's keeping you from your stuff. They just keep on throwing you a program. Oh, we got a program. We got a new program. Oh, we just got a program for them. I'll just give you a new program. You need to watch the Truman Show. After Truman realized what was going on, he was bound and determined to see what was on the other side. People did everything. They threw every storm possible. Damn, they killed him. Talking about if he testing to see if he was really sincere about. No, you're trying to break him. That's the problem that's the real problem that I have, is that when you come aware, and you begin to operate you all won't be subject to the same fate. I'm just talking about things that I've gone through. Okay. So I'm just saying that when you've come alive, when you've arisen from the dead, and now you're attempting to, or you've so you as a sleeping giant now have awakened, and now you want to operate in proper person. And because they've been doing this, so now you're trapped in with everybody else. The problem is that now that you've made yourself known, you should be able to get out, right? Watch the Truman Show. So that's, you know, what I've gone through in essence. But now we're here, baby. It's live and direct. Ain't no going back. Ain't no going back. You've come to know something today. You're in the know. Now, again, I said later on, I want to talk about remedies. What can we do? What provisions are out there for us? We'd have to identify ourselves first of all as being indigenous. See, that's the problem. We run around here. We want to be the African Americans. Because we haven't studied. We haven't come to the knowledge. I've just gave you the framework. All of that, they've been lying. That's the reason why Trump want to get rid of the Department of Education. A critical race theory. That's it. The term, the critical race theory. They don't want you being taught that bull snot no more. That you is Negro, black, and colored. Because now, just like I did, you're able to trace it back. You can find yourself. That's what that whole thing is about. You not finding yourself. Now, I do believe Trump. Now, I don't think that he's trying to do what I'm actually saying about restoring the so-called Negro to his indigenous status completely. I can't necessarily say that, whether it's he is or isn't. But the way has been prepared for that to be a matter of fact. The fact that he's always talked about the Native Americans. He said it didn't look like natives to him. And they don't look like, he said they don't look like Indians to him. And they don't look like Indians to Indians. You the Indian. That they changed to Negro or reclassified as Negro and colored. So I believe there should be an act. And I call it the AIR Act. American Indigenous Restoration Act. So that we can breathe again. Breathe life back into the indigenous people. Through the AIR Act. Restore us to our original status. And the framework that they can use is the International Labor Organization Conference 169 concerning indigenous and tribal peoples and countries that were colonized that are now independent. Now, the United States didn't sign on to that treaty because that would have given the United Nations the authority to come in and to have jurisdiction over violations, right? So, but what Barack Obama did instead was create the American Indigenous, I forget what the name of what it's called, but that's something that we can act on. not in our feelings, because you're still under the mindset of being Negro, blacks, and colored. No, to your original status, not as monsters,